Well, good evening, and welcome back to another episode of Cozy Old School RuneScape Lore. It's the podcast where we explore the places, the people, the pieces of paper that tell us more about Gielinor, the land of old school RuneScape. I'm your host, Drifteray, and tonight we are following up to a question that I had, that I started wondering about in the last episode when we started the Desert Treasure 2 quest, because we met some trained professionals, including someone with the title Doctor, implying that they have their PhD from a university. And I started wondering, well, what's the educational system in Gielinor like? What's the school system? What's the university, like the college and university system? How do people get these degrees? How do people get this training? So we are starting, we're going to review kind of the range of educational institutions, if you could call it that we can find. And we're going to start at the beginning at maybe the lowest level or like earliest level of education we can find with schools, and in particular a surprise exam. Now, I don't have this random event available right now, but the surprise exam random event is where the player is asked to answer a few questions, and then there is someone in there called the dunce, which is like an imp wearing a dunce hat, and the dunce will teleport the player to a classroom where the exam can be started. I'm reading from the wiki right now. And this random event is led by Mr. Mordeaux, who is as the wiki says, a draconic professor, currently the host of the surprise exam random event. This is a dragon with some spectacles behind a desk. Players need to answer the questions, and then they can leave and claim a reward. And the wiki says, I don't know how the wiki knows this, but he is significantly more intelligent than ordinary dragons. The examine text for Mr. Mordeaux is, "Do not upset this teacher, you have been warned." And in the trivia section of the wiki, it says his name, Mordeaux, may be a play on the word mordant, which means having or showing a sharp or critical quality, biting. So apparently this is a draconic professor, but again, we don't know where this professor was trained, got their training, or did their education. So that's Mr. Mordeaux. And what else to say in the surprise exam? The inhabitants of the room include Mr. Mordeaux, that dunce we talked about, and then there's no humans other than the player. There's also a giant at a desk, a goblin, two goblins at desks. There's a zombie, a mummy, and the class pet, which looks like a mouse running on like a mouse or a hamster, but it looks more like a mouse running on a hamster wheel. And that's pretty much it for that event. All the trivia is just kind of technical things about world hopping and that kind of thing, and logging out. So that is it for the surprise exam random event. And the other thing I could find to do with schools is that there's schoolgirls and schoolboys in the Varrock Museum wandering around, along with their teachers, which is another NPC. Along with their teachers and fellow students, they seem to be having a field trip. So that implies that there is a school somewhere. I don't know if it's the schoolroom from the surprise exam random event. I doubt it, because there's no humans there other than the player. But let's go over to the Varrock Museum and see if we can meet any of them. So we'll cast the Varrock Teleport and run over there. It's just like a block away. So I'm running over to the museum, and we will see who we can find. I think it's downstairs, so I'm going to go downstairs. Oh wait, I think there was someone right up here. So here's the teacher and pupil. They're like one NPC altogether, and they're holding hands, so they're like conjoined in the game. And if I talk to them, the teacher says, "Stop pulling, we've plenty of time to see everything." And the pupil says, "Oh, but miss, it's so exciting." And that's a lucky teacher to take your student to the museum and have them be into it. It's like that teacher should have, ideally would have a little bit more patience for this kid, especially because they want to learn. If I examine them, it says a teacher and one of her pupils. Let's see if we can find any. Oh, I went back down the stairs again, and right again I saw another school child. Two actually here. One is a schoolboy. If we talk, they say, "Yay, a day off school." And if we examine, it says, "Cheeky little chappy." And then let's talk to the schoolgirl. I wonder what they're doing behind that rope. I think this child is referring to the rope where the kind of space where the archaeologists are cleaning off the digs is. And that's all that person says. And if we examine, it says, "Cute pigtails." Okay, I don't know about the descriptions of these kids, but whatever. Then there's another NPC downstairs, teacher and pupil. This time the pupil is on the shoulders of the teacher. They're again just one NPC. Both of these humans conjoined, this time at the legs and the neck. The pupil says, "Teacher, sir, I need the toilet." Teacher says, "I told you to go before we got here." "But sir, I didn't need to go then." "Alright, come on then." Yeah, I don't know. I think these teachers could up their game. Let's examine them. It says a teacher and one of his pupils. Alright, let's talk to another schoolboy. They say the Caliphite Queen is so scary. And this other schoolboy. Whoops, there we go. Talk to them. "Can you find my teacher? I need the toilet." Okay. I don't think I can actually help with that. Sorry. And another teacher and pupil. These ones holding hands. "What do you want to see now, dear?" "The penguins, the penguins." If we examine them, a teacher and one of her pupils. Let's talk to this schoolboy over here. Then there's two more kids in the corner of this room. Whoa, I'm trying to run after this kid. Yay, a day off school. And this schoolgirl over here in the corner. "We're going to see the dragons? They're my favorite." Schoolboy over here. "Can you find my teacher? I need the toilet." So that is multiple. That is 3 kids so far that have toilet needs. I really hope that they get taken care of, get their needs met. What other kind of unique dialogue can we find? A schoolboy over here. The Caliphite Queen is so scary. Schoolgirl over here. Okay, so another kid that needs a toilet. The schoolboy says, "Do you know where the moles are?" It's like I can't talk to them. I can't actually help them. Let's talk to one more teacher and a pupil before we leave. Okay, that kid also wants to see the penguins. I think that's probably it. So we met some people in school, but we didn't learn anything about where they're from, just that they are from a school and they're having a day off their school for a field trip. Alright, so that is basically that section. So next I looked up college. I did look up university, I think. Oh yeah, there is when you search for, hold on. Okay. Well, something on the Woad Leaf page mentions a university. Is that just in the trivia? Yeah, in real-life medieval Europe. And then there's a reference to, like, Durham University, so that's not inside the game. Okay, so now let's look at Poxted College. So, fair enough, if we go to Zenaris, then we can go see Fair Enough's educational certificate. So let's go take a look at that, see what we can learn about education in RuneScape. Where did Fair Enough go to school? Climbing under the underworld tunnel next to the Grand Exchange. And we're gonna teleport over to Zenaris. I can't remember where Fair Enough is, but we'll find her. Configure the fairy ring. And, whoops, I can just right click and say Zenaris. There we go. Fair Enough. Is Fair Enough in, like, the corner? It's Fairy Fix-It. We talked to Fairy Fix-It, I think, in a Monster Mash episode or something, maybe. Banker, fairies by the bank. Fairy shopkeeper and assistant in the general store. I think maybe Fair Enough's place is to the northwest here. I can run into this room. Is this where the educational certificate is? No. I don't think so. How do I find fair enough? Yeah, maybe I can't get to... Maybe I can't see the educational certificate because once I started Fairy Tale Part 2, then Fair Enough's little, area here got ransacked, I think by the invaders to Daenerys. What if I search the fairy workbench? Just glass from a broken vial. Shoot. Okay, so I can't look at that directly, I don't think. So let's just instead read the wiki page. Apparently at some point there was a... Well, even on the wiki page it looks like this is, broken. I'm just going to look one more time in game. Oh, inside a hidden... Okay, if I search these potion shelves that are all busted, hidden inside a vial you find a copy of Fair Enough's certificate. So let's read the certificate. It says, Certificate of Advanced Healing from Poxted College, signed by Dr. Forster, MMD, PRD, Head of Magical Healing. Wow. Okay, so there's a place called Poxted College, where there's a doctor, got a PhD, who is the head of magical healing there, and that's where Fair Enough trained. And if I had talked to Fair Enough, the wiki says that she says, I graduated over 200 human years ago. Look, there's my advanced healing certificate on the wall. I think the idea of species-specific years is really funny. Like when people on Earth say dog years, I'm like, that doesn't really make literal sense to me, because we're all on this planet that goes around the sun once every 365 times it rotates on its own axis, and that is 1 year. So, one complete trip around the sun is a year, whether you're a human or a dog. It's still a year. I think what people are saying is that, a dog's year is like 6 years or 7 years or whatever to a human. So that's me being a little pedantic there. I still just think, though, that in Gielinor, my guess is that a year is a year. I think it's funny to say 200 human years when I presume that fairies live on the same world. Maybe years are different in Daenerys. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it is really is a astronomical difference where Daenerys is compared to Gielinor proper. I just wonder about that and the writing. I think it potentially could be improved by being a little bit more kind of generic to 1 year is a year. Anyway, Poxted College was established more than 200 years ago because Fair Enough graduated 200 years ago, so the college needed to be established before then, and it offers certificates in advanced healing. And then if we look at the page on Dr. Forster, is or used to be the head of magical healing at Poxted College over 200 years ago. MMD and PRD appear to be a pun on Doctor of Medicine, abbreviated MD, and Doctor of Philosophy, abbreviated PhD, respectively. So, if we go back to Fair Enough's page, can we see anything about education that I missed? No, Poxted College over 200 years ago. So then the question is, what is this Poxted College? Where is it? How does it work? Has anyone else graduated from there, or just Fair Enough? Interesting, but we don't have much more info. So I also did a search for college, and there was a bunch of entries for college, but most of them had to do with the College of Bards. And in an episode of our Varlamore chunk-based series, I inspected a wine that was from... What was the wine? It was Imperial Rosé, which the examined text was a complex and herby tempestus rosé that's famously served at the College of Bards. So I was thinking maybe I'll find the College of Bards someday, but this episode is where we're gonna read about it for the first time. So, it is a school, according to the wiki, of performers and entertainers located in the floating city of Tempestus, which is a city you can't actually access in-game yet. Maybe it hasn't been released or something, like going there. But the wiki says there are several traveling members of the college, such as Reshi, Tomdrill, and Kendall, all who were allowed to move outside the city and into Varlamore. And then the reference to that is from the beginning of the Children, or at least some point of the Children of the Sun quest, where we access Varlamore for the first time, and at that point it was like Varlamore was like initially opened up to outsiders. And at that point, someone named Alina in that quest said members of the college are some of the only people allowed to travel to and from Varlamore. Well, I think since then it's been opened up, and now people like me, adventurers, can travel to and from there. But at least at a certain point, the members of the college were the only people allowed to go to Varlamore. And the wiki also says there are more notable people who have traveled to other places from the college, including Hameln the Jester, who's since moved to Mortania. Now, we talked to Hameln the Jester in our episode on Books from Sleep. For some reason, my character just decided to dance. I don't know why. Does that happen if I read the certificate? Nope. That was weird. But I'm going to go back to the Grand Exchange, grab my Draken's medallion, and we'll go talk to Hameln the Jester one more time. Let's go there. So let's go to, well, I can't use a sleep teleport, but I can use the Bearson-Haza teleport. And we are in sleep, and I think Hameln the Jester is right inside this church here. There they are. So we'll talk, well, first let's examine. Hold on, I gotta interrupt the dialogue. A jester from the west. I say you don't look too happy. Well, it's not like I have much to be happy about. First, one of my traveling companions catches the sleeper plague, then the other goes and gets executed. We should never have come here. You don't look like locals. No, not at all. We came here from afar. How far? We traveled eastwards over many oceans. I think it's really just one ocean and maybe a sea, but okay. Why travel all this way? I ask myself the same question. We came here on a quest. You see, I found a poem in the College of Bards that told of the sanctuary below. It seemed worthy of exploration at the time, but with all that's happened, I wish we'd stayed at home in Varlamore. And then I could just talk about the sanctuary, but that doesn't have anything to do with college or the Varlamore. I'm going to say goodbye. Okay, that's Hameln the Jester. Other people include Hanshin the Hound. Who is that? The thief in the sanctuary. Okay, so let's go back down there. We've been there in a couple episodes, but let's go there again, because we're going to want to talk to everyone from the College of Bards, because that is probably our best lead for education in this episode. It's like the only actual educational institution that, we know the location of, even though we can't go there. So where is Hanshin? Oh, I think I just passed Hanshin. Okay. Just at the opening of this cave. Hanshin, where are you? Well, weird. Well, maybe initially Hanshin was down here. But has since contracted the sleeper plague. That was the one that Hameln mentioned. So, and maybe the other one mentioned here is the one who got executed. Ooh, shoot. Alright, we'll see if we can find Hanshin up back in the church. Maybe incapacitated. Yeah, Hanshin the Hound was lying on a blanket just beside Hameln. Okay, examine the latest victim of the sleeper plague. Okay. So unfortunately we can't talk to Hanshin. Who else? It would be cool if we could have... Oh, there's a page for transcript of the possible dialogue with this character, probably before they got the plague, so let's read that. Let's see, anything... Okay, I could say, I guess I'm a little curious about your companion. And then Hanshin would have said, the jester, the journey has put him off performing, for the better, I'd say. And then he would take some coins, like a handful of coins from my pack, and I'm like, that was hardly worth it, because it was like I had to pay for information. And Hanshin would have said, I never promised worthwhile information. And then I could say, do you know much about the painted one in the town center? Hanshin would have said, oh yes, he came with us. He tends to find himself in strange situations, but he can handle himself. Takes more coins from my pack. I say, do you care more for gold than you do your friend? Hanshin says, apparently. And then the rest is just like negotiating about information and money. And Hanshin would have called me in an earlier dialogue, like, you traveling types, all you have is questions. So, isn't Hanshin a traveling type? Okay. And then the painted one in the center of town. Can we find the painted one here? Another companion of Hamel and Hanshin. Okay, nope, that's Sister Yram. Yram. But I can't see the painted one. Ah, shoot. Maybe that location changed too. Standing atop a platform, but that platform is empty. So that must have been earlier in a quest. So the painted one has like a painted face, like painted white, with like black lipstick and like black plus signs, multiple ones, on the forehead and cheeks, and then like kind of like black crosses above, like extending above and below the eyes, with like black eyeliner. And it says, during Sins of the Father, it is revealed that he was accused for being responsible for the sleeper plague that had afflicted the town of Sleep. And then so he was killed by the citizens before the player, me, uncovered the truth of the spreading of the sleeper plague. The citizens assume in the end that he was indeed guilty, but they're not aware of the conspiracy, and appears to be wearing a yin-yang amulet. Okay, so that is kind of literally, I guess, a dead end for those members of the College of Bards, but apparently there's also bards just kind of around. NPCs in Varlamore. They're stranded in Varlamore since the ferry is not running. One group can be found east of Ralos Rise, and then the others on the dock west of Tal Teklan. Okay, so let's go to Ralos Rise. I'm going to go back to the Grand Exchange, get my Pendant of Atez, and then we'll go talk to them. So I'm going to teleport to Ralos Rise and run just a little bit east. Whoa, my character's going in crazy directions. Well, forget this. I'm just going to go pick up my Quetzal whistle and Quetzal over to the Hunter Guild. Alright. And now we're at the Hunters Guild, and I just have to run north from here. Yeah, the pathing was really weird. Trying to run down the mountain. Oh, I could have just taken an agility shortcut. That was my issue. Oh well. We're going to be there in just a moment. I'm trying to find these NPCs. Where are they? Those are animals, but here are some NPCs by some tents, and they are all bards, so let's talk to them. Well, first I'll examine. Maybe they take requests because they're holding like a musical instrument. So it's a musical college. Makes sense, College of Bards. I say, nice trumpet. Thanks. I made it myself. The College of Bards insists that we all have the ability to create and maintain our own instruments. I'm quite proud of what I came up with. Well, I hope it serves you well. Let's talk to the other bard. I can't see an instrument here. Oh, it's like something in their right hand. I say, hey there. Think you've got what it takes to join the College of Bards? I'm not sure. Well, it only takes a lifetime of practice, so maybe give it a go one day. I mean, as someone who underwent a lot of musical training, I can attest that's the kind of traditional expectation, is a lifetime of practice. not just, building a relationship with an instrument and expressing yourself. Hey there, what are you lot doing out here? I'm talking to the third bard now. We're from the College of Bards and Tempestus. We thought we'd set up camp here to do some performances for anyone traveling through the savannah. That's cool. With the kingdom now open to tourists, we've had plenty of new fans. That's nice. And I think the other trio found at the dock west of Tal Tekalan, where they're waiting for the ferry. That's the sister songstresses. Songstresses, interesting. So to get there, I think I can take a Quetzal there. Let's see. Yes, so I'll just run back down to the Hunter Guild. And then we'll hop on the bird, go to Tal Tekalan, talk to some more bards. Then I think it's only a couple other people to talk to, and that'll kind of wrap up everything I think we can learn about education. Like formal, like colleges, universities, schools, that sort of thing. And then maybe I'll have some comments on ideas about other educational institutions that are maybe less structured. Okay, so Tal Tekalan, going there, and I've got to find the docks. Okay, they're just to the east, poking out into the sea, which makes sense for a dock. I'm running over there. Okay, there are 3 bards here. I'm going to talk to the first one. I say, hi there, are you enjoying the view? I am, though I do wish it would be blocked by the ferry to Tempestus, because then the ferry would be here, yeah. The ferry, is there something wrong with it? I'm not sure exactly. All I know is that it's not running at the moment. How urgently do you need to get there? We should be back at the College of Bards already, but I'm sure they'll understand why we got delayed. Oh, you're a bard? Could you sing for me? Maybe? Can you take us to Tempestus? Unfortunately not. And I'm afraid you don't get any singing this time. Fair. I wish more musicians wouldn't perform for free. Or on demand like that. Hello. Oh, hello there. You seem a little down. What's up? I'm talking to another bard now. I just want to get back to the College of Bards. It's like my spark has gone out being away from such a creative environment. I'm sure you'll be back there before long. You think? It doesn't hurt to be hopeful, does it? Not to mention, hope can be a great inspiration. Well, I'm not very helpful, but they think I am. Hope can be a great inspiration. Perfect, I'll use that. You'll use it? To write our next song. Oh, okay, great. Oh, well, I'm happy to have helped. Okay, and then the third bard. Hello there. Nilsal, have you come to hear a song from the sister songstresses of the College of Bards? Sister songstresses? So you're a group of sisters who sing together? Don't be silly, of course we aren't. Oh, the name did suggest otherwise. Well, we realized when we met that we were all very similar, so we've been using it as a selling point. Everyone loves Snappy Sister, Stormy Sister, and of course me, Spirited Sister. That sounds like a reference to the Spice Girls. Does that work? People love a nice story about a trio of sisters coming together, so yes, it works rather well. It seems unethical. It's all storytelling. Songs, appearance, history. We're telling a story and people want to hear it. I'm not sure if people wanting to hear it makes it entirely ethical. Is it made better if our songs are good? Now that you mention it, no, of course it isn't. Well, you're just no fun, Iknami. Yeah, I am not fun in that case. It's like it's their brand. It's their band brand and persona. There's a red skink here. When I examine it, it says a fiery-looking lizard. Is that a macaw over there? Yes, examine. A large and colorful bird. Beautiful. It's just kind of hovering in place, flapping its wings. Okay, so the other people are... There's 3 other people. Reshi, Kingstown Park. Okay, so there's another group of 3 bards. I think that's over in Civitas Illifortis. So, where's Kingstown Park? It must be right here. Let me confirm. No. Oh, okay. That's not in Varlamore at all. They've actually left to Karen, so I need to use my Xerix Medallion, or whatever it's called. Xerix Talisman to go to Xerix Heart Teleport, which is the Karen Castle. And then I just run to the east outside the castle, and we'll be in Kingstown Park. And hopefully I'll see these 3 bards. It's interesting that the one school whose name we know and who we can meet multiple students of, is musical school. Oh, I think I see these bards. Okay, and these ones are named NPCs. Let's talk to Kendall first. If we examine, it says she looks a little concerned. Good day. Oh, I'm talking to Tom Drill now. Oh, Tom Drill's speaking for Kendall. She don't speak much, not since the incident. Oh, what happened, if you don't mind me asking? I prefer not to go into details, but I will say this. Yeah? Demons. Demons? Killed her husband. Oh, well, that's certainly a shame. Isn't it just? Okay. Let's talk to Tom Drill themselves. Good day. Hello. What stories do you bring from afar? Between the mountains we witnessed the Chicken King invade a mountain fort full of Mount Tinman. The Chicken King? Okay. That was his name. Chicken King. By the light he fought valiantly. Did he win? He screamed off with their heads while flailing around with a halberd. So, his paltry reign is sadly no more. Any other stories? During our journey we came upon an abandoned house. It was eerily silent. How spooky. As we entered the house we were hit by a horrendous smell. It was quite surprising. Yuck. And yuck was spelled Y-U-K. The entire family was dead, but there was not a single mark on them. Makes you think, what could do such a thing? How unfortunate. Such a waste. Such a pretty garden. What? Oh, nothing. Any other stories? Not right now. Ask me later. Fair enough. Okay, and now let's talk to Reshi. Hey. Nilsal, welcome to our camp, adventurer. That sounds lovely, because Reshi's playing like a kind of a lute. No, yeah, kind of a lute. Actually, it looks like a lute. Kind of strumming at it. That sounds lovely. What tune is that? Oh, this is just the beginning of something. Still a lot more to come. Does it have a name? I suppose the working title is The Doors of Din. So this is the person who composed, like in-game lore, wrote the Doors of Din music that plays when you go to the Wintertodt. That's cool. Where are you from? We come from Varlamore. We're students of the College of Bards. Oh. Or did you want to know where I'm from specifically? My home was destroyed long ago by an evil saltwater deity. Well, that's certainly a dark and tortured backstory. Say, have you slain any dragons, wooed a beautiful princess, sought revenge on the fiend who killed your family? Dragons, slain. Princesses, wooed. But revenge? That's still brewing. Well, fair enough. And I can say I have to go. See you around, adventurer. Alright, and they have a kind of a more well-stocked camp here. There's a campfire, there's this apple basket I could search. And it just says these aren't your apples. There's a bucket of fish basket, a basket of onions. There's crates around here that I can search. You search a crate but find nothing. What about this one? Find nothing. There's two more. I gotta do it. Search crate. Nothing. Last one. Oh, there's actually two additional ones. It's like 2 crates by each tent. And there's like a cart here. These last 2 crates are by the cart. Oh, and Tom Drill's holding like a harp, and Kendall is holding what looks like a violin. Or a viola. Yeah, something like that. Very cool. I wonder if they made their instruments like the other bard did. Well, College of Bards is the college that has the most students, probably. I'm just looking at the wiki again. Okay, and then there's one other person, Justiciar Aaliyah. Oh, that's the person who... No. That's not the person from that quest. That was Alina from Children of the Sun quest. But Justiciar Aaliyah, the wiki page came up in regards to college. Oh yeah, it says... I'm looking for the word college in this page. There we go. According to the Knight of the Lion, a servant to Aaliyah, she resided in a college in Hollowville prior to Luernial Dracon's invasion of the kingdom. Okay, so this is giving me an idea about the history of education here. Apparently, Justiciar Aaliyah was a Saradominus justiciar known as the Justiciar of the Lion, leader of a group of skilled mages. The most powerful mage of the Justiciars, she was said to be able to wipe out an entire army of demons with a single spell. Well, that's pretty intense. Okay, apparently Aaliyah and Zachariah, who is the Justiciar of the Owl, were tasked by Saradomin to protect the Stone of Jas from Zamorak. And then they called it the Eye of Saradomin, and then that's where the Temple of the Eye was. Okay. So, none of that has to do with college. The college was just a footnote, and I'm reading a little bit more about this prior student of the college. Okay. Well, wait. The Knight of the Lion actually says, if we were to talk to them, last I heard she was residing in a college here in Hollowvale, which is Mauritania. Okay. So here's my kind of like hypothesis on the status of educational institutions in Gielinor, based on what we've learned so far in this episode. It seems that there used to be a college in Hollowvale. Now it's Mauritania. Maybe as a lot of Mauritania got destroyed and as it got taken over by Dracon and the vampires, maybe that college is no more. Maybe that's destroyed too. And so that's like one place. So like my hypothesis is like maybe most of the institutions of higher learning, maybe there's some that got destroyed along with, destroyed like civilizations, kingdoms, settlements and stuff. Like for example, the Zoroastrian Empire, maybe it had a college, who knows? But if the college in Hollowvale is anything to go off, it's like, places like that probably got destroyed when they got taken over. So there's that. There were probably more colleges. I'm kind of wondering if, like, the doctors that we meet, like the PhDs that we meet in the game, got their doctorates, like, long ago, and then, like, the place where they got that got destroyed, and there's maybe not a place to get a PhD anymore in Gielinor. Or maybe we just don't know about it. Maybe it's not a place we can go yet or visit. And then, other than that, we know, like, we met a bunch of people from one college that still exists, but we just can't get to, which is the College of the Bards. So, but that's a musical college, a college of performers. So that's not really gonna give like archaeologists their training, or like historians and that sort of thing. And there's the museums, and so it's like possible that like maybe these museums, and there's also libraries. I was thinking of Arceus, and how that's like a huge library. There's the library in Prifddinas, the Grand Library. It's like maybe some of these places are places where people can also get education. So the museums in like Farlamore, Varrock, and then the libraries, like the one in Arceus and the one in Prifddinas. This is just a guess, but it's like maybe those are actually like kind of de facto educational institutions of their own. Maybe they don't just hire people that go to a college and then work there. I mean, it's like maybe they train people. And other than that, it seems like all we have that we know of as educational institutions is just schools. There's a schoolroom from the surprise exam random event, and there's some school somewhere where the students and teachers are on a field trip to the Varrock Museum. And that's all we know about, as I know so far. If I learn more, and I kind of, maybe I'll comment on in future episodes if I think of like more ways people could get training based on what I'm learning and what I'm hearing about. But, and then you have groups like the Wizards, the Order of Wizards, the Zamorakian Magical Institute. Those would be like more like kind of like sorcery-based kind of like communities, but like maybe they have their own kind of like systems and ways of like getting people trained and like having their knowledge credentialed and that sort of thing. So like maybe we could think of those as a sort of educational institution, but I feel like we don't have any contemporary examples that we really know about in the game of like traditional colleges and universities. So I feel like there's still kind of a big like lore gap in terms of how people get their degrees, except for one that's not even on Gielinor. I imagine it's not, which was what was that name of that other one? The one that Fair Enough went to, Poxted College. Okay, so Poxted College, maybe it still exists, who knows? But that was a college, that's another college, but also a very specific college, a college of like magical healing. So it doesn't really seem like there's like general higher education institutions that we know of. So a little bit of a lore gap. But that's kind of all I can figure out for right now for this episode. So I think that's going to do it for this episode. And then I guess the final note, idea I have is just like kind of what I was saying in the last episode and the very first episode. It's just that like kind of independent scholars who just kind of find their own way and follow their like thirst for knowledge to kind of explore the land and see what they can find, which is kind of what we're doing in this series too. So yeah, that's kind of all we got so far, but thanks so much for joining me, and that's going to do it for this episode. I'm going to say thanks so much. I hope you have such a good evening and that you sleep so well, and I'm going to say good night and goodbye for now.